when my phone buzzes again. I go cold, thinking it's a message from Chelsea. Worst-case scenarios roll through my head. I imagine Rip sending something from Chelsea's phone, a photo of her dead body lying in the mud on the bank of the Rio Grande. But when I grab my phone, there's no message. I hear the buzzing again and realize the call is coming from my other phone, my personal cell with a number that only my friends and family have. There's an incoming call from Anne, my ex-wife. When she calls, I usually drop whatever I'm doing to answer. True, she's not my wife anymore, but the two of us are still close friends. This time, Anne's going to have to wait. I step out of the car and take a deep breath, inhaling South Texas air as humid as a greenhouse. I unbuckle the strap on my hip holster, freeing my Sig Sauer for quick access, and approach the front door. I hear Chelsea crying inside. I try to see through the front window, but the house is too dark and the sunlight outside is too bright. "Come on in, Ranger," a voice calls from inside. "But keep those hands where I can see 'em, or I'm gonna blow this lying bitch's brains out." Chapter 2. I open the door and step inside. The room is dark, but I can make out the TV, a muted Dr. Phil talking to a guest, and then a chair, a couch, and the two people sitting in them. Chelsea is frozen on the couch, plastered up against the armrest, as far away from Rip as she can get while staying seated. Rip is in a recliner, holding a long-barreled shotgun with one muscular arm. The barrel is aimed at Chelsea, dead center of her chest, and at the range of only a few feet, it wouldn't matter if it was loaded with bird shot or double-aught buck. The shot would open her up like a sardine can. There's blood on Chelsea's lip and one of her eyes is swelling, beginning to turn blue. She can't seem to stop crying and she looks at me with pleading, apologetic eyes. She shouldn't be apologizing to me. I should be apologizing to her. "Don't do anything stupid," I say to Rip, holding my hands away from my body. "Chelsea's the one that's gone and done something stupid," Rip says. "She caused this shitstorm of a mess, telling you a bunch of lies about me." Rip's file said he was 6'4", but he looks even bigger than that because he's so broad and burly, built like an NFL tight end. He's wearing a wife-beater that has long since faded from white to the color of urine, and his exposed arms are muscular and veiny, painted here and there with amateur jailhouse tattoos. The shotgun he's holding, a single-shot 12-gauge with an extra long barrel, would probably be hard for a normal person to keep steady with two hands, yet he's doing just fine with one. My strategy is simple. Keep Rip from doing anything crazy until backup arrives. There's a pile of paperback books next to Rip's chair, each one torn in half, as if it were an envelope full of junk mail. "Is that where you get your nickname?" I ask, nodding at the stack of torn-in-half books. Rip tries to hold back a grin. "It's what I do when I get antsy," he says. "I'll rip anything I can get my hands on. Books, magazines, aluminum siding. I ain't never ripped the arms off a Texas Ranger before, but I bet I could." I try to imagine how strong someone must be to tear a 400-page book as if it were only a few sheets of paper. I feel a wrench of pity for Chelsea. She's lucky to be conscious. I gestured toward Chelsea and her battered face. "Is that what you do when you run out of things to rip? Punch women?" Rip fixes me with cold black eyes. As earnestly as I can, I say, "How do you think this is going to play out, Rip? My backup will be here any minute, and you've only got one shot in that gun of yours. If you pull the trigger, you'll be dead 1 second later." Rip grins, showing a gold cap on one of his teeth. "If I pull this trigger," he says, "then you won't do anything. You'll be shooting an unarmed man. I know who you are. I heard about what happened in Waco. You don't want to get in any more trouble." "I could always tell the police that I tried to shoot you before you pulled the trigger," I say, trying to match Rip's defiant grin with my own. "In Waco, there were no witnesses, but I've got one here. Your best bet here is keeping Chelsea alive." Rip's grin falters. "I'll ask you again," I say. "How do you see this playing out?" In the distance, I can just make out the sound of a siren.